Yep.
ended up on a transatlantic flight.
Yep.
So he went the wrong way in New York. He ended up in Ireland instead of California,
Yeah.
which was hhis original destination.
Didn't know people in California spoke with such a weird accent. Yes. So anyway, have you got a directionally challenged story that you'd like to share with us? Or maybe you've got a directionally challenged type joke because it is a funny Friday. So if you've got a joke about that as well, you can tell. 800-221-9356 is our number to call or text. And also, we are live streaming on Facebook this morning.
Good morning.
And also, can I say the other source where we're live streaming? No, I can't. And so we won't say that. So we're live streaming on Facebook right now. But if you want to check in there, you can see what's going on as well. It is 7:01. Here's the Newsboys, and you hold it all on Moody Radio. Yes, so here we are on a Friday.
So we've been looking up some directionally challenged jokes
Yes.
that we remember. And one of them was one that Jeremy told us. And all I could remember was that it took place in a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah. So here it is. Here's the
All right.
joke that Jeremy told us. A blonde driving a car became lost in a snowstorm. She didn't panic, however, because she remembered what her dad once told her. If you ever get stuck in a snowstorm, just wait for a snowplow to come by and follow it. Sure enough, pretty soon the snowplow came by and started to follow it. She started to follow it. She followed the plow for about 45 minutes. Finally, the driver of the truck got out and asked her what she was doing, and she explained, well, my dad told me if I ever got lost in a snowstorm to follow a snowplow. And he said, okay, well, I'm done with the Walmart parking lot. You want to follow me over to Home Depot? Oh, that's such a classic.
Oh, that's a fun one. Maybe
That
you
is.
have one like that you want to put on the comment section below as we're live streaming this morning. Or a story about going the wrong way. I do have one. My kids were coming back from college
Yeah.
in Chicago, and they were being delayed and delayed and delayed. I couldn't figure out what's going on. I was getting so worried as a mom. You just sit there
Sure.
at home going, what in the world happened?
Yeah.
And so finally they walked through the door in kind of like a huff, you know? And I was like, what took you so long? And they had some argument about where to go in Rockford, and they ended up in Wisconsin. Oh, so that was a fun story of, I mean, I'm thankful they got home
Sure.
safely, but
Right.
it is kind of confusing there in Rockford, I got to say, with 39 over
Yeah.
what way to go.
Sure.
But yeah, so it came they came the long way around.
That's right. They took the scenic route. Via Wisconsin. So anyways, yeah, so we're talking about directionally challenged stories today. Maybe you've got one that you'd like to share with us, or maybe actually even have some visual items or something like that of a joke that you've seen or something like that. Anyway, whatever, you can leave it for us here on Facebook or give us a call, 800-221-9356. So I didn't have like a directionally challenged story, but this morning I did have something happen to me. I was a little bit late getting to work for those that weren't listening just after 6. Yeah, so I was leaving town to come to work, and there were 2 cars behind me. And then all of a sudden, a third one came in behind because the person in front of me was going really slow. And so I was about ready to pass the car when we got out of town, but all of a sudden, the red and blue lights started flashing. And so I thought, well, I better pull over and let them go by, right? All of us started pulling over, and then all of a sudden, the car pulled in behind me. I went, what?
Surprise!
What
You
did
got
I
the
do?
golden ticket.
Yeah, that's
You got the
right.
golden ticket.
And so anyway, the officer was very nice and said, were you aware that you didn't have any tail lights or brake lights? And I said, no. And so he proceeded to tell me, and then followed me back into town and gave me a warning. So it was very nice. So I appreciate that he was doing that.
Yep, and coming up, we talked with Phyllis earlier.
Here's the Newsboys. You hold it all on Moody Radio Quad Cities. It is 7:05. Thanks so much for being along with us. We're talking about wrong way stories this morning. So we want to hear your directionally challenged stories, or maybe you've got a funny joke about being directionally challenged.
We did have one come in this morning. Kelly said 3 blondes were driving to California on vacation when they saw a sign that said Disneyland left. So they turned around and went home.
Ba-da-bum. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate you
fun.
sharing that. Also, I think Steve's on the line with us. Morning, Steve.
In the Quad Cities. You're at south of Iowa.
I had
That's why we have
forgotten
North
about
Park
that.
and South Park, and that's why the sun sets in the wrong place.
Right, yeah,
People keep
that's
saying,
right.
shouldn't the sun be setting? Oh, how come the sun is setting in the south? No wonder people are confused in Mississippi. That Mississippi curve, so Illinois kind of bumps into Iowa down there, or Iowa bumps into Illinois, one of the two.
Right.
But that's where people get confused. I want to go to Illinois. I'm going to go east. Well, you end up in LeClaire. It's confusing. We actually, in Iowa, we made it that way just so people wouldn't come over.
I see. A good one, Steve. Morning to Jordan and Heidi and Joe and Kathleen and Phyllis. Paul Watkins. He's my friend I used to work with in Omaha. He lives in Arizona.
Paul says my wife gets lost driving home from church. Oh, Heidi was in Egypt. She says, when I was in Egypt, my friend was riding a camel named Rambo. He took off. Thankfully, the ride didn't take long and he came back.
I hate camels.
That's hysterical, Heidi.
That's funny,
What
Heidi.
a fun story.
Oh, that's almost like when you go out on a trail ride at some dude ranch or whatever, and you get on a horse, and they always want to head for the barn because they know they're going to get fed, you know. You can take them out, and they'll go slow as molasses heading out. On the way back, it's like, hold on.
They know when their food comes.
That's right.
And where their food is.
Exactly.
Hey, so Phyllis said, good morning now. Remind me, Ken, Chicago is really east of here, right?
Well, thanks to Steve.
I always forget that we've got that north-south thing going on right here in the Quad Cities. Once you pass
Right.
it, though, then
Yeah.
I was west.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder, could you take Avenue of the Cities and go? I don't know. No, you still run into the river, so I guess it's not gonna, unless you can swim.
The bear could.
That's true.
We've had a lot of people give out stories this morning of going the wrong way. It's
Yeah.
been really a fun morning for
And it's
that.
only 7:00.
I know. I mean, we have a lot of experiences, I think, all of us, of either having the GPS take us a wrong way or us fighting with the GPS over
Right.
the right way. And,
Sure. Oh yeah, I've had the GPS do all kinds of weird things.
redirecting.
7:09, Ken and Deb here, and I think we've hit a nerve today.
Yes.
Everybody's got a great directionally challenged story for us this morning. It's been great so far. And so if you've got a story about, maybe something happening with GPS or being on a trip and not having the map turned the right way, or, I don't know, whatever that might be. Maybe you've got a directionally challenged joke you want to share as well. 800-221-9356. And I think Deborah's got a story for us. What's your story, Deborah?
A number of years ago, my husband had a meeting in Calgary up in Canada.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably about the first GPS we ever had. So we weren't aware that GPSs don't always know what they're talking about. So we can tell that we're getting close to the city. We see the city lights, coming in ahead of us. And we know that we're getting close. And my husband is following the GPS, and our son's in the back seat. He's like 12, and he's got the atlas. And he's telling his father, don't follow the GPS. That's not right. And my husband's not listening to the 12-year-old in the back seat. He's just following the GPS. And finally our son goes, "Okay, goodbye, Calgary." And sure enough, pretty soon, we can tell we are not getting closer to Calgary. We are getting farther away.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah, so it was just pretty funny. And that's actually a family joke now. Every once in a while that comes up, and we'll laugh and go, "Goodbye, Calgary."
Goodbye, Calgary.
Yeah.
Smart kid.
Right, exactly. I think we got Don on the line here this morning. Let's see what Don's got to say. Morning, Don.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on today?
Well, two little directional anecdotes. I grew up in Ohio and always heard about the country being divided to east or west of the Mississippi. So we settled in Bettendorf. And I was, as they say, powerful confused because I realized I lived north of the Mississippi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, when I was in college, I was a driving instructor for a local driving school. And twice I had my wits scared out of me because we'd be driving along. I'd tell my teenage student, "I want you to turn left at this next corner." And they'd go, "Left here?" And I go, "Yeah, right." As in, yeah, that's correct. Instead, we went off to the right, facing oncoming one-way traffic. So even today, if you ask me a question, I'll say correct instead of, yeah, right.
Oh, that is great. That is a great
All
story,
right,
Don.
guys, have a great day.
You too,
Thanks,
Don. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Do you remember drivers, Ed? We had 4 people in our car, and there was one person that every time the guy said left, they'd go right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The other left. That's what, let's see, somebody, who was it? Mary said, often my husband will say, "Take a left, your other left." That's good, Mary.
Ron told a great story, too. He said, in my long career in manufacturing and equipment maintenance, whenever someone took the long way or the harder route to fix a problem, it was common to hear someone say something like, "Okay, wrong way." If someone was notorious for doing that, they would acquire the nickname, "Wrong way, go far."
Oh, man. Heidi, my GPS has a British accent. His name is Nigel.
It's fun.
It's brilliant, Heidi. Brilliant.
I guess you can choose the different voices on your GPS,
Yeah.
can't you?
Yep. You can even change it on your Siri.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can change the.
I just never
the
thought of
accent.
changing her voice, so, or, looking for that.
Deb, you could have a male voice.
I could.
That'd be a
I
little
could
weird,
I
though,
could
wouldn't it?
probably have Nigel too.
Oh, man. It's great to hear all these stories.
It's fun to have you listening in this morning. And kind of any plans for the weekend? I heard it's supposed to be really, really hot this weekend.
Unloading hay if
prepared for that.
anybody wants to help. Mac Brock, that is called Greater Things on Moody Radio at 7:14. Ken and Deb here. And so we're talking about those directionally challenged stories. Maybe you've got a story that has happened to you with a GPS, or something that you know of is directionally challenged and you're riding along. Whatever that case might be, we'd love to hear your stories this morning.
Our phone number is 800-221-9356. You can call, you can text, you can join us on Facebook live streaming right now.
Right.
And you can put the comment right below there, or the story, or the joke. We also are taking jokes that have to do with being directionally challenged.
Sure, that's right. And so text, call, go on Facebook, whatever. And I think Margie's got a story for us. Margie, what's your story?
It was a few years ago. We were going to Branson for our senior jubilee, which is through our church. And we decided to drive on our own. I was still working at the time, so we left after I got home from work. And we had just gotten the GPS, and we were going through St. Louis. And Joe, he knew which route we were supposed to be on, and we kept going round and round and round in St. Louis, and it was dark by this time. So finally, we pulled over at a convenience store, and we to use the restroom. and came out, and we picked up a map, and I'm out there looking at it because I'm a map reader. And this man came up to me and said, well, where are you going? And I told him, and he says, well, you see that road there? That's the one you take. And the GPS kept, Well, anyway, long story short, Joe forgot that the route changed in St. Louis.
Oh.
So we finally got on the right one. I don't know, it was almost midnight before we got to Branson. We were very tired. But we learned, you listen to the GPS, But it was, it's like going round and round the city. That's the same accident we saw 5 minutes ago.
I've done that before, where I go, I know how to get there. I don't need to be told how to get there. I've been this way 100 times. And you're going along, GPS telling you the other way to go, Then all of a sudden, where am I? Once you listen to the GPS, it will tell you where to go. But I've also had the opposite, though, as well, where I've listened to the GPS and it was taking me all this kind of rigmarole way to get through someplace, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so both ways. Hey, also, there have been times I've gotten lost outside, like walking or hiking.
Oh, yeah.
Where you were going the wrong way and you ended up way off the trail somewhere and you're trying to find your way back and then you find a road and you're like, thank you, Lord, there is a way back.
Right? Yeah, that happens, though. I mean, that's frightening sometimes, especially when you're out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So I have a story I'm going to tell here in just a minute on the air about using GPS.
Mm-hmm. All right. Looking forward to it. Yeah, we've got Hannah and Patricia and Joe. Thanks so much for listening in this morning and joining us live on Facebook. Have any stories about getting lost or going the wrong way or finding your way? All those are welcome today. And GPS stories, as well as we're having a little fun with Wrong Way Corrigan Day, which he made that flight in 1938. So I've got to give him a little flack. That was the beginning of the whole flight.
Still had the ocean, though, then, didn't we? I'm just thinking, you're going supposedly across the United States. There'd be land underneath of you. But unless he was flying very high above the clouds or whatever.
mean, maybe that was before the sinking of Atlantis.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh.
He was just off in his own little world, just flying along.
Right, he was just enjoying the ride.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were talking about making plans for the weekend and stuff. Yeah, it is going to be a warm one again. Temps going back up. So we had some company over yesterday from church for dinner and whatnot, and they go, "What'd you guys do today?" "Oh, did you mow?" It had been a great day because today was the day, one of the last cool days for a while. I go, "Nope, I was cooking dinner for dinner tonight, so I couldn't mow." But yeah, yesterday would have been the day to mow.
Yeah,
Today
I know.
It's going to be hot.
We got to mow too, but we didn't do it yesterday because it was a little wet. The ground was still pretty wet yesterday. So we're going to have to do it when it's really hot. We're supposed to see the heat index way above 100. I think they were saying some places like 107, 110.
Yeah, I'm not going to mow any hay, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, that is really extreme. Now, the actual temperature, not that, but.
Right, because of humidity.
Yeah.
It is 7:19 with Ken and Deb here on this Friday morning. It is a funny Friday, and so we're having you tell those stories about being directionally challenged or maybe a joke that deals with that. Maybe you have a GPS story. Everybody's got GPS stories where it's taking you in the wrong direction or it's taking you through this weird place. Like, for example, I was going down to Victoria to go fishing. There's a state park down there where we can go fishing. Well, when you get down towards where the road is at, they had it closed. I think it was last year. They had the road closed, and so you couldn't go the normal way to get to it. And I thought, oh, great. Well, I don't know the area. So I pulled over and put in GPS and said where I wanted to go. And so it goes, go straight here, And so I'm going straight, turn right here. And so I turn right, and I'm keep following this road for X amount of miles. Okay, I'm going along, and I've got my boat behind me, and I'm going, da-da-da-da-da. All of a sudden, I'm getting into a wooded area. And, I'm waiting for banjos to start playing or whatever. And, I'm going, wait a minute, this doesn't look safe, And sure enough, it got me where I wanted to go. But later, I looked at a map and said, well, I could have went this way, but I didn't know that. Anyway, so it gave me the scenic route to the lake. And it was very scenic and a little bit frightening. So anyway, my GPS story. If you've got one, let us know. 800-221-9356. Here's Hillsong United and Not Today.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not going to get there today, Ken.
So on this Wrong Way Corrigan Day, Ron has something funny. He said, this is a true story. I was stunned to hear both Ken and Deb on the radio this morning. It's Saturday.
Yeah, I know it. Ron's retired. See, every day's a Saturday to Ron. I know where you're going, Ron. I know where you're going. I think.
We'll know what that's like eventually, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully not soon.
Right. Well, everybody just try and drink lots of fluid.
Yep.
Stay
Be careful.
extra inside if you can, or find somebody with a pool, Jeremy, or or just try and stay as cool as you can this weekend. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll chat with you again on Monday at 7:00. That'll bring a close to this mid-morning show coffee break for a Friday. Oh, first, before we do that, happy birthday to my daughter, Elena, my one and only daughter. She celebrates a birthday today.
Aw,
So
that's wonderful.
happy birthday to Elena. We'll be checking with her